Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrack. Hey, big shout out to everybody that's tapping in, man. Well, it appears that an American airline pilot has sighted a UFO. The U.S. has made updates to their draft, and a whole lot of other interesting clips we're going to go ahead and take a look at. But before we do any of that, do make sure to smash that like button for me, hit that subscribe button if you're not a part of the iTrack fam, and hit the hype button too for good measure. Now let's go ahead and jump right into it.
An American Airlines pilot just reported a mysterious flying disc while landing in Philadelphia. Listen to this.
Sort of like flying disc that just went over us at about 1,300 feet.
Sort of flying disc?
I'm not really certain what it was.
Roger, I'm not seeing any targets on the scope, but I'll let everyone inbound know, thanks.
And Tower American 3013, ILS 27 right.
American 3013, Fleet Tower 1320 at Niner, right 27 right. Clear to land, use cause previous route reported a flying disc at 1,300 feet. They said it flew over.
Okay, clear to land, and we'll be watching American 3013.
American 1837, high speed, kilo spot 6, contact ramp. Do you have any more specifics about that disc, just for some reports?
I really don't. It was black, and that's it, unfortunately.
Do you think it could have been a drone?
It didn't look like it.
Was it like frisbee sized or?
Potentially, yeah, frisbee, disc golf, maybe a balloon. I don't know. It definitely wasn't a balloon that had air in it.
Roger.
Now, if you've been tapped into iTrack at all, you probably already are aware that DARPA is creating all kind of UAPs that the average human being has no clue about.
Congress just changed the draft laws. Let me explain. You probably know that the United States already has a system in place to draft people into military service if needed, called selective service. Under the current draft law, most men in the U.S. between ages 18 and 25 have to register. And if you don't, failing to register is technically a federal felony, punishable by fines up to $250,000, possible prison time, and the loss of eligibility for certain federal jobs and benefits. But with the conflict in the Middle East escalating, including Iranian missiles and drone attacks on U.S. and allied targets in the region, people are starting to talk about the draft again. But here's a twist. Congress just passed a change in the draft law that will automatically register eligible men starting December 18th of 2026. Instead of you signing up yourself, the government will collect information from other agencies and register you automatically. Now, this doesn't mean that the government is going to start drafting people. It just means the way they collect the names of those eligible will change. The reality is the U.S. military is the largest volunteer military in the world. And the fact that the people in the military are not forced to join is the reason why our men and women in uniform are the most highly trained and effective fighting force in the world. The reality is, conscripts for a draft wouldn't fill combat or mission critical roles, and there's no legitimate discussion of instituting a draft anytime soon. Do you think America will actually need a draft again? Should women be required to register too? If a draft happened today, would you support it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
It almost seems like we're at the point that humanoid robots could be deployed instead of actual human beings. I feel like we're closer to that than anything else. Definitely type it in the comments and let me know what you think.
Tucker Carlson may be charged by the DOJ for acting as a foreign agent after he committed this potentially treacherous act. Tucker released a 5-minute video on X where he explained that Trump's Department of Justice has been tapping his phone and building a case against him on allegations that he was acting as a foreign agent. While Tucker insists that this case is based on a lie, official records tell a different story, as in the months leading up to the Iran war, he had met with Trump on 3 separate occasions where it's believed that they had discussed the possibility of an upcoming US strike on Iran. Investigators reportedly suspect that Tucker may have leaked the details of those conversations to senior Iranian officials. However, Tucker says that he did contact Iran, but what he told them was completely legal, and that the real reason why the DOJ is going after him is because he has been vocally claiming that the Trump administration did not want to strike Iran and was likely forced into doing it.
This guy's going viral after he was rushed to the hospital because his entire body turned blue. Apparently, he just woke up in the morning, his friend saw that he was blue like an avatar and rushed him straight to the hospital. The doctor said he had never seen anyone this color and alive in his life, but then he just wiped him one time with an alcohol wipe and it came right off. Apparently, the friend had just bought him new bed sheets and they turned his entire body that color. So he went right home and washed the sheets, then it took over a week of baths to stop being blue.
A week of baths to stop being blue sounds kinda crazy.
Fun fact of the day. When jeans were first being commercially sold, they were marketed as waist overalls.
A 9-foot great white shark was tagged by scientists to track its movements. 4 months later, the tag washed up on the beach. When they pulled the data, they found that the shark had been pulled 1,900 feet straight down. The temperature reading spiked to 78 degrees. Something ate it. We just don't know what.
And you know, that's what makes the ocean so scary, because whatever's eating the shark has to be one of the most diabolical animals on this planet.
What actually happens when I tap a credit card? The tech inside your credit card is incredible. Imagine you shrink down to the size of your card. Here's the chip. Not that. It's actually hidden underneath the contact pad. And the moment that you tap it, you're setting off an incredible chain reaction around the world. In those few seconds before the machine accepts your card, the chip sends a radio signal to the card reader with your card data, encrypted, with a secret one-time code that makes your information useless to anybody who would try to steal it. It's similar with mobile payments. When you tap your phone, the chip sends a stand-in number, so your real 16-digit number is never shared. That's why chips are more secure than the old school swipe. Then that information travels through a payment network like MasterCard that acts like a switchboard connecting banks and merchants in over 200 countries and territories. They work with banks to make sure that security is in every layer of this network, with AI and cybersecurity and privacy to protect all of their users. That includes determining if the payment looks like you or looks like a scammer. Is this a normal location for you? Is the amount unusual? Does this match any other suspicious activity anywhere in the world? Do you have enough credit for this purchase? If everything looks okay, your bank sends back an approval and then kicks off a behind-the-scenes process for the money to move between banks. And all of that, the encryption, the routing, the review, the final yes or no, it usually happens in less than a second. That invisible tech layer is what makes it possible to pay simply and securely almost anywhere in the world with just one tap. So MasterCard isn't a credit card company. It's a technology company sitting at the intersection of security and innovation and inclusion. And that's priceless. To learn more, follow @MasterCard on Instagram.
Turbulence exists on a private jet. Private jets actually are really good in managing turbulence, and the reason for that is two things. In the newer aircraft, such as the Global 7500, it's got huge wings that are super, super long. So it's a lot less sensitive to turbulence. And the other thing about private jets is that we get to go higher. So the altitude range that we can fly at is much larger than the airlines can. So if we have problems at 38,000 feet, well, we can climb up to 43,000 feet and see how it is up there. That's the thing with turbulence, is that you change altitude to see where is the smoothest ride.
SpaceX just officially filed their plans to launch 1 million satellites into Earth's orbit, and no, they are not going to be for internet. So literally right now, there's about 15,000 active satellites orbiting Earth, but SpaceX owns around 9,500 of those. So obviously a majority of them. And they have now just officially filed paperwork with the FCC to add 1 million more, and it's not going to be for internet, and it's not going to be for communication. It's going to be for AI. SpaceX now wants to build the world's first orbital data center, which would be 1 million satellites running artificial intelligence in space. In the actual filing itself, SpaceX said that this would be a first step towards becoming a level 2 civilization, which is a civilization that can harness the full power of its own star. Okay. Now here's the part that nobody is talking about, because an astronomer calculated that if all 1 million satellites were eventually deorbited, one would burn up in Earth's atmosphere every single 3 minutes. And scientists still don't fully understand what that much metal burning up in the atmosphere does to the atmosphere long term. These satellites would also orbit higher than Starlink, meaning tens of thousands would be visible from Earth every single night, even at midnight. Amazon has actually already filed a 17-page petition to block the entire thing, and astronomers are calling it a potential end to ground-based observation of space.
Now, the one thing I will give Elon credit for is for actually trying. A lot of people like to talk on the sidelines, but never actually do anything. And in this situation, we will never know if we don't try.
Hollywood is evil. That means, in the spiritual aspect of it, all these guys are building studios now. De Niro, Wahlberg, everybody's on this tsunami wave of what's going to happen. What if the technology changes? What if I can do it right in this room? What if I can make a whole movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger right here on an app? It's changed so much. The most important thing is the storytelling. I watched Jerry Maguire. They don't make them like that anymore, Patrick. Why? Because Hollywood controls the content. What's Hollywood about now? Wait, because I did this on Jamie Kennedy, I got in trouble. Jamie Kennedy said, you're wrong. Hollywood is not elitist. Hollywood does not have a small club that it feeds itself and they make Barbie and MCU. And that's it. They want the money. The machine of Hollywood wants the money, not the art, not the quality film like Jerry Maguire. They don't want that. They used to. But that generation's, those great directors, that decade of those storytellers is gone. Hollywood is going to die in the next 20 years because of that. Because people don't care. They're already getting right to their phone what they want.
You know, if you really pay attention to any of these big corporations, they have a lot of the people Jedi mind tricked into thinking that they are running things. But in all reality, it's the people that run these corporations. And what do I mean by that? If everybody just decided one day they don't want to watch Netflix anymore, Netflix would be obsolete, bankrupt in one moment.
The Illuminati are the 12 disciples of Christ. We know. A lot of people don't know this. Break it down. Let people know what that is. A lot of people don't know this. I tell them all the time. Well, you can do anything you say you want to do. I don't know, but I can't give that to everybody. I mean, go on, tell them that. Y'all be why you? Okay, I'll say it again. The Illuminati are the 12 disciples of Christ, and that's it. I don't want you to do anything other than what you've been doing. What do you want me to do? Act funny or something? What are you talking about? Like, what do you want me to do? I want you to talk about what we're talking about. The 12 disciples of Christ? Yeah, talk about it.
I don't think enough people talk about how insane Howard Hughes was. After inheriting his father's business at 18 and paying himself a $50,000 salary, which was a lot of money back then, he ended up as one of the most influential and richest people of the 20th century until completely losing his mind. In fact, Tony Stark, Andrew Ryan from BioShock, and Mr. House are all based off of him. He struggled with severe OCD for his entire life and refused to touch anything without 6 or 7 tissues to shield him, and he also had a 9-step system for his staff on how to open a can of peaches for him without it being contaminated. And despite being terrified of germs, he himself rarely ever took a shower, and he even had a full-time barber who claimed that he only gave him 3 haircuts in a 10-year time span. At one point, he locked himself inside a projection studio that he was renting and spent 4 months watching endless amounts of movies, surviving on chicken, chocolate, and milk, and then he would pee in empty milk bottles. In 1966, he rented out the entire top 2 floors of the Desert Inn Casino in Las Vegas, and after staying too long at the hotel, they asked him to leave to make room for more guests, so he bought out the entire casino and then went out and bought 5 more in Vegas. He became a huge Las Vegas real estate tycoon all because of pettiness, and his obsessiveness was everywhere, like watching the same movie on loop 150 times while eating Baskin-Robbins banana nut ice cream every single night. When his staff found out that the flavor was discontinued, they had to special order 350 gallons of it, and then only a few days later, Howard said that he only wanted French vanilla now, and the Desert Inn Casino had to give away the ice cream to guests for a whole year. In 1972, that was the last time anyone ever heard from him publicly, and for the next 4 years, he bounced around between his hotels, watching movies on repeat, peeing in jars, and when he finally died, he weighed only 90 pounds and was completely unrecognizable.
With all that money, somewhere along the way, he lost his mind because nothing about any of that sounded fun.
This man just used AI tools to help design a custom cancer vaccine for his dying dog, and it actually worked. And no, he's not a scientist, he's just a data engineer, and he had 0 background in biology. His name is Paul Cunningham, and he adopted his dog Rosie from a rescue shelter in 2019, but in 2024, she got diagnosed with mast cell cancer, which is one of the most aggressive forms. He naturally threw everything at it, from surgery to chemo, and the tumors just wouldn't die, so vets gave her 1 to 6 months. So he did what any desperate person does and started researching and used ChatGPT as a starting point to basically map out what was even possible, which ultimately led him to pay $3,000 to have Rosie's tumor DNA sequenced at a university genomics lab, which converted her cancer from tissue into raw data. He then ran that data through AlphaFold, which is Google DeepMind's AI that predicts how proteins fold in 3D space, and used his own ML algorithms to identify the exact mutations driving the cancer and match them to potential drug targets. Interestingly, the hard part wasn't necessarily the science, but the paperwork. Cunningham spent 3 months writing a 100-page ethics application application just to get permission to treat his own pet. And once that was cleared, a researcher built the actual vaccine, which was a custom mRNA sequence, the same tech behind COVID shots. Within a few weeks, the tumor on her leg, which was originally roughly the size of a tennis ball, shrank by half. Her coat got glossy and she could run again. Ultimately, it was not a full cure, but it does appear to have significantly extended her lifespan and quality of life. And as always, worth noting that this is just one dog and one very specific case, so it isn't clinical evidence of some magic cure. Either way though, the team is going to publish their findings so other researchers can learn from it, because right now you have companies like Moderna and Merck running billion-dollar trials on the exact same idea of personalized mRNA cancer vaccines for humans. Except the expected cost when approved is somewhere between $100,000 and $300,000 per patient. And in this case, Paul did roughly the equivalent with free AI tools, university lab access, and a few $1,000s. And obviously for a dog, which is very different, but it is still pretty exciting for the vision for personalized medicine. Right now, Paul is actually working to make this accessible to every dog. So if that means something to you, I'm going to share a link to his forum here or comment and I can send it over.
This video captures a terrifying moment where a ride operator forgets to buckle one of the riders before sending the ride off. Thankfully, she escapes before the ride takes off.
Tell me that's not one of the biggest lawsuits in history. I'm not sure that girl knew how close she was.
Think about Elon's belief that the universal basic income thing will eventually become necessary. Many people think that. Andrew Yang thinks that. That's a quote. He was one of the first people to sort of sound that alarm during the 2020 election.
Yeah, I guess both ideas probably won't exist at the same time. And as in life, things will probably be in the middle. One idea, of course, is that there'll be so much abundance of resource that nobody needs a job and we'll all be wealthy. On the other hand, we're going to need universal basic income. Both ideas don't exist at the same time.
Right.
And so we're either going to be all wealthy or we're going to be all using...
How could everybody be wealthy, though? What
because
scenario?
Wealthy, not because you have a lot of dollars, wealthy because there's a lot of abundance. Like, for example, today, we are wealthy of information. You know, this is a concept several thousand years ago, only a few people have. And so today we have wealth of a whole bunch of things, resources that historically...
That's a good point.
Yeah.
As long as mankind has free will, there will never be such a thing as everybody be wealthy monetarily. There will absolutely be a gap between the have and the have-nots. And if you haven't noticed or understand that by now, man, I'ma pray for you.
Biology fun fact, do you know why flamingos usually stand with one leg lifted? It's because if they lifted both legs, they would just fall down.
That Hollywood is evil. This whole image is just totally overblown. I have the heart of a small boy. I keep it in a jar on my desk.
I bet you get a lot of mileage out of that one.
I have never used that line before in my entire life.
Oh, good. Watch the telephone cable there. You know? The one thing, too, that's interesting, though, is that
that clip from an interview with author Stephen King literally sent shivers down my spine. What makes it even weirder is this is the creator of Pennywise the Clown and the It series. It states here, It, created by Stephen King, is an ancient, shape-shifting, extraterrestrial entity from a void called the Macroverse, which feeds on human fear, particularly children. For years, people have speculated hypothetically that Hollywood is an extremely dark place. Back in the 1980s, when that interview was actually from, nobody thought anything more of that besides it being a weird joke. But looking back at a clip like that through the lens of 2026 and everything we're finding out now, it really makes you think. For entertainment purposes only, comment below with your thoughts and opinions. Am I on to something or am I tripping this time? Wake up.
Have these vans that come around and they tell the homeless they're going to take them to a shelter. They've got whole big meals set up for them and showers and they can wash their clothes and all this. And a lot of them get in the vans and go. And then they tie them up and they hold them for the 31st. And then they sacrifice them on the evening of Halloween to the devil. And it's like a perfect crime because nobody's looking for them.
It's a dark force. Because she told me, well, I'll tell you what she told me. This is what I put in writing, part of it. She said, there are people in power. I put this in writing in 2012. She said, there are people in power. And I'm not going to say where she focused my thoughts on that, but there's script in the book of Revelation to bring about Armageddon and the end of the world. They're doing it intentionally, and that's what she told me. And that's the very thing I the main meat of the whole message I sent to these generals. So it makes sense, right?
Who is they?
I don't know who they are. I think they're Satanists. I think they're people that worship the dark force, that don't care for humanity and human life. And in fact, they're the total opposite of, they worship the devil. Or I don't know if there is a devil. I think it's a very dark force that is living full of dark entities that feed on you parasitically, like they'd be non-physical. They shape shift. They take your mind over. They make you do crazy things. They deceive you, make you kill somebody, go crazy. Where the angelic world are the physical beings. They can come in here and light. These beings are made of light. The dark force is a parasitic race. And whoever's aligned with that is, according to the mother, the lady, is scripted in the book of Revelation. They don't want it to happen.
Why did they want it to happen?
I think it's the dark force. I think that they want to snuff out God. They don't want us to have God in our heart. Why do you think they did evolution? That's the biggest, dumbest thing I ever heard in my life, that every living thing come from a mud puddle.
Now, if we just pay attention to history alone, there's just a little bit of truth to what he's saying. I mean, there's always been that fight between good and evil, and the extent of the good and the extent of the evil, pretty evident when you're looking at solely history alone.
Masons don't let you wear any metals during their rituals, because metals like gold, silver, and copper help you protect yourself from electromagnetic influences. Each degree of Freemasonry has a specific ritual where they open up your lodge. They call your body a lodge because it is the temple of consciousness, and your lodge has 7 chakras or energy vortex centers which hold immense power. During the ritual, the initiate is stood in the middle and the other Masons around him direct mental energy to open up the lodge. And what this does is activate the chakras in your energetic etheric body. As you ascend up the degrees of Freemasonry, they open up more and more of these centers. The strict rule is to never wear any metals, or else the ritual can go wrong. Because if the initiate is wearing metals, the ritual will not be done properly. I've read many documents of experiences of Freemasons during initiations, and they have said that they felt a very intense vortex energy warping around them during their initiations. I've done a lot of research on this topic, and anything that I find I will continue to share.
In addition, there is evidence for a whole new type of medicine, in which DNA can be influenced and reprogrammed by words and frequencies without cutting out and replacing single genes. Gurdjieff and his team successfully transformed frog embryos to salamander embryos simply by transmitting the DNA information pattern through frequency alone. Gurdjieff's research group proved that with this method, chromosomes damaged by X-rays, for example, can be repaired. They even captured information patterns of a particular DNA and transmitted it to another, thus reprogramming cells to another genome. So they successfully transformed, for example, frog embryos into salamander embryos, simply by transmitting the DNA information patterns. According to Russian researchers, our DNA is not only responsible for the construction of our body, but also serves as data storage and communication.
Never before seen footage of a portal opening up near Thunder Mountain in Sedona, Arizona. You can clearly see a buddy of mine, David, put an infrared security camera on his roof and captured this portal opening up above his house.
What?
You can see orbs coming out. This is never before seen footage that was shot in Sedona, Arizona.
Whoa.
There's no such thing as the biggest number, because no matter how big a number is, you can alter it inside of your head. Your brain would collapse into a black hole.
So whatever this is, it had wider eye sockets and apparently larger eyes than a normal human.
Because the reason I asked about the covers is because what a lot of experiencers talk about is the fact that they have very large black.
That's exactly where I was going.
Black eyes, and I'm wondering whether these were there were pupils inside of these slits, but there was some form of protection.
What I find uncanny about this is if you look at the description of the conventional grey alien being, they have these gigantic eyes, the enlarged, elongated head. It's quite chilling to see something like this here.
Hey, nothing about that mummy looks human at all. Like, not even a little bit.
While they're talking about it on Truth Social, this person said, the rapture that many were taught is skewed. It is not a fantasy idea of being lifted off in the sky into heaven. It's a reverse rapture where we stay here and all of the evil is removed by the angel of death, Azrael, off this earth. Oh boy. So I looked up Azrael. Now Azrael is known as the angel of death in Islam and Judaism, a powerful figure who takes the souls of the deceased to the afterlife. Now while absent from Christian scripture, Azrael appears in various Christian traditions, Gnostic texts, and folklore as being who separates the soul from the body. The name comes from the Hebrew meaning God helps, but Azrael is considered a compassionate, albeit solemn figure, serving God's command to transition souls from life to death. Now, while the angel of death concept appears in Christian and Jewish traditions, Azrael is not a recognized name for this figure in mainstream Christian scripture. Now, in Jewish, Gnostic, and medieval Christian writings, Azrael is identified as the angel of death, similar to his role in Islamic tradition. So, is this angel of death coming for everyone that's evil? And is the theory of a reverse rapture what's really going to happen? We'll just have to find out.
Breaking news now. Emirates has just confirmed to us that all flights to and from Dubai have been suspended until further notice. That follows reports of explosions near the airport. Big change. So anyone trying to get out of the region is being told not to go to the airport. Our government is organising shuttle buses to alternative departure points at this stage.
I think Dubai might be taking the biggest L out of all the countries because everybody assumed that Dubai might have been the safest place to be in a situation like this. But it turns out, not at all.
Watch this. I don't think we were supposed to watch television and take on all the problems of the world. I don't think the body's equipped for that. No, there should be just a day the TV just goes off. Maybe a week the TV just goes off. What's so bad about that? In time, we're going to find out that all of the media is a misconception. Anytime you place your life outside of yourself, you're going to suffer grave consequences.
Okay, this is actually a super cool interview from Prince. And what's crazy is this was probably 20 years ago, I'm not sure, but it has only gotten worse since then. So if he was saying that back then, he was way ahead of the time. He knew what was coming. He could see it from the outside. And he's right. I mean, you can't trust a lot of things you see on TV, no matter what your beliefs are. And Prince here is pointing that out. And Prince was a super smart guy, super talented, probably the smartest musician / producer, just as somebody in the business itself of all time. He produced and wrote almost everything himself. He really didn't work with too many labels because he didn't want bad contracts with them. And he advised other bands and musicians to be careful with contracts and labels because it's a possibility that they can take a lot more royalties than you would think. So he was a big advocate for that, and I guess he was a big advocate for just finding truth and not believing everything the media says because they can warp the mind of society. And watching this video was my first time to ever see Prince talk about this, so I think it's pretty cool.
What's the one lie people tell themselves too often?
We live in a culture where everyone says, you know, if you manifest something, it can happen. I think sometimes that's telling ourselves a lie. It's not about manifestation, I think it's about hard work. I sound so harsh right now, but I think that's what it is. I feel like putting something up on a dream board is fine. You need some creative visualization, but you've got to do the work to get there. You can't just sit back and lay back and say, well, I manifested that thing to happen. No, nothing that I've built for myself has been manifested. It's all been diligent work and hard work ethic.
Hey, there's a whole lot of truth to what he just said because manifestation can be misconstrued as some kind of magic or something like that, but it's none of that, you know. Anybody who had anything in life had to work for it. Simple as that.
So there are apparently not even close to 8 billion people on Earth, and we've been knowing this if you actually look into it. Scientists may have severely miscalculated how many humans are on Earth, official research revealed. Hey guys, just count all the people that are like trafficked or born, taken away, stolen, all the people that lived in like uncivilized nations. Like there's no way they counted them. You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense. But obviously 8 billion is just a rough estimate. But it definitely would be better for the people that are higher up to make it seem like there's more people on Earth, because then they can start enforcing a bunch of things. But that's a different topic. Actually less than the estimates. I saw a guy do the math on China, and there's no way they have over 1 billion people. No, everyone inflates the numbers. The amount of people in third world countries are definitely inflated so they can get more money, financial aid from first world countries. And right, they ask India, hey, India, how many people do you have? Oh, we have 2 billion. Okay, and then they add that. Like, bro, obviously it's a lot more calculated, but anyways, guys, what do y'all think about this? Do you believe in this? Have you heard any other stories like I was talking about?
I've been watching this clip over and over. I cannot figure out what I'm looking at. Look at this thing. I want you guys to watch the actual full clip because there's a part in it, like right when you see it, that you hear this like screeching noise, and it's terrifying. So I'm gonna play it.
What the is that? What is that? Yeah, what's that?
So this clip was taken in early 2015 by Damien Mink and his friend while they were out mountain biking in the mountains of Thailand. This was near the city of Hua Hin. So Damien and his friend would usually wear a GoPro while mountain biking. Actually, the beginning of the video is just them like kind of biking through the mountains for a couple minutes, and then they usually go up to this view to see the sights and just look over the landscape. And they just sat there, you can see them taking off the helmet and setting the camera down. And then they get this, and it's so, you almost can't see it until it moves. Like at first, when I first saw it, I was like, what am I looking at? And then it zoomed in, and I was like, and you can see it in the like fully unzoomed clip. It's just hard to see when you, because it's camouflaged. They said they ran over there and they looked all over for it. They found no signs or trails of it anywhere. He said he only noticed it when it moved, and he heard that strange noise. Like, he said it sounded to him like almost like a woman screaming. I don't know if you guys could hear it in that clip, but I could. I mean, a lot of people are trying to claim that it looks like a lizard, but I don't know, to me it looks like it has its hands like up on the thing. Like it had, you see that? Like it has very long fingers almost, and its hand is reaching up and it's pushing off the rock or the cliff face that it's on and to sink down. Or that it's a person in like some kind of suit. But I don't know. It really seems like it's hanging onto the side of that rock, and the hands are just really odd, and they don't look like they're long and like flappy because there's no like finger all the way through it. It looks like solid to me. Also, they're saying it seems like the creature almost seems to fade down as it falls, because I don't know if you noticed, but I mean, I know there's trees in the way and stuff, but you can't see it after it goes down, but there's more area to, you know, you should be able to see it, they say. So they're like, where did it go? And they didn't hear it run off into the woods or anything. And they also said they didn't feel like they were in danger at all, that it actually almost felt like it was more scared of them than they were of it. And Damien has gone back there multiple times over and over. He's kind of a native to the area, so, you know, and he's never seen it ever again, even though he's actually went and looked for it a lot because he can't like figure out what the heck this is. So what do you guys think about this? I don't know. It's wild. Like, I'm just gonna look at it one more time. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be scared. I would have been scared. I would have ran.
That definitely looked like some kind of hybrid. I can't tell exactly what, but there was some kind of camouflage going on. Wasn't human in my opinion. Drop your opinion in the comments below and let me know what you think. Well, you guys, that's another one in the books, man. I appreciate you guys for always stopping by, watching and learning with me. If you haven't already, do make sure to smash that like button for me. Hit that subscribe button if you're not a part of the iTrack fam, man. And smash that hype button for me too. And I will definitely catch you on the next one.